I read one of your 2023 goals.
Yeah.
Is to, let me read it, see if I have a future with the fire service.
Yeah. You know, like, y'all are so good at your job. You know, that's not the first time I've been asked this question. Yeah, I chuckle, but because I appreciate the thoroughness, and you guys always make it personal, so I'll stop dancing around the question as
so
well.
Answer.
Yeah, you know.
So yeah, so when you wrote that, what was on your heart?
You know, I love what I do here at Hold Fast Recovery. I love working with people in addiction and trauma, and it's been an absolute joy. And you look back on life, and there's certain things that you could regret, and that could be one of them for me. You know, for a long time, you know, I thought it was never impossible to return to the fire service, and so, you know, this year and a half coming up, like, it's an exploration, you know, that not if I can do it, but do I want to, and can I close that chapter and be fine with not pursuing a career in the structure side of things. So that's kind of where it's at. No.
Did you ever fight another fire after that day?
No.
Never.
I've done ride-alongs with different departments across the country and stuff like that. So.
How was that?
Fine. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like, very initially, it was one of the few places that I felt comfortable.
Really?
Because, like, they're not asking the questions that other people would ask. You know? So it's like I just got to be myself. And so that was very comforting. And so ran along in Dallas, New York, South Central, I mean, all over, just to see, like, you sure? And I think more so for me is, you know, not only being able to serve others, but is there an impact 20 years down the road that I can make in the fire service from the mental health standpoint? Because, you know, young firemen and firewomen now maybe are starting to take care of their mental health, but, like, the understanding I have today is very in depth. And so, like, what would that do, and what impact could I make in the department? Because you work 10, 12 days out of the month, right? So, like, there's plenty of time for other things.
All about balance.
Yeah, balance. And so, you know, that's always been my concept with Hold Fast Recovery, is there's going to be someone smarter and better than me. And so, you know, the goal is to work myself out of a job and just be able to look back and enjoy, you know, a small part I got to play in someone's life. So I don't know. No pressure, though. I don't have, like, a hard deadline. I don't have anything of that sort, but I've definitely been exploring the conversation, and there's certain departments that have great leadership that I think are really progressive in mental health and substance abuse. And, you know, when you get to be a chief, you have limited time there.
Yeah.
So I have an impact, I have a voice, and if that's the route that is the most impactful, then that's the route I'll take.
I think a lot of people want to know, is the movie accurate? You've obviously watched it.
Yeah.
Were you okay through it? I mean, that would seem also a lot to digest.
It was cathartic the first time I watched it. Because like, this movie's going to be put out to the world. And, you know, I've never done anything in film, so, like, when they're like, man, just picture it through this, I'm like, dude, I don't see what you're talking about.
Interesting.
Like, how is this gonna look?
So were you there on set?
Yeah.
Wow.
For a good portion of the time, along with some other fellow crew members that had been on the crew previously. And so, but a lot of trust with the producers and the actors, and you just know authentic. And it just felt authentic from the beginning. So, like, huge relief there. It was super painful to watch that, though. I mean, it was very, very painful. And Sony had enough respect, and they flew me out, and they, you know, hey, do you need anything? Do you want to talk to your counselor? Like, what? Do you want somebody there with you? You know, because you think this, like, world of Hollywood, and I'm sure there's bad people in every industry, but fortunately for myself, like, it was just good interactions, like of people who really wanted to portray my brother's story and honor them. And from the beginning, it felt like that, and all the way to the end of the film, they did an amazing job. And so accuracy, it's Hollywood, right? So they take liberties. I think the biggest liberty they took was the time frame, right? So they scrunched like 6 or 7 years into 1 year, you know. And then the rattlesnake, I never got bit by one.
You never did?
Nope. Knock on wood. Hopefully that never happens.
Yeah, I hope that does not happen.
Yeah.
Wow, why did they put that in there? Do you know?
Another crew member who was advising on the film had been bit.
Yeah.
And so they were looking for something to fill in that time frame of separation. And they wanted to kind of highlight the addiction piece.
Yeah.
Like there was
When
like a
you
little,
refused to-
yeah.
Yeah.
They just wanted to have these subtle pieces about it because Eric, our superintendent, was in recovery. And so they didn't want to like,
Leave that part of the story out.
yeah, they wanted to just put in subtle pieces. And so like people that have been through it, they get it. You know, I get messages all the time like, man, proud of you, et cetera, for your recovery process. And then maybe someone that might pick it up and see, you know, like, hey, I can turn my life around as well. So no, I think they did a great job. It was pretty accurate. You know, I think the goal of the film was to portray the men and women in the wildland fire community. So like you have this first international film is depicting a very elite sub part of a culture that is not talked about, that does not want to be talked about, that will not take credit when credit is due. And you have that responsibility as well. So as a whole, I think they did a good job, you know?
It's interesting from our perspective because we go to all these fires, so it's like, you know, I mean, Rodeo Tennis Guy, we were at the camp with everybody. It's like, so we see as reporters that camaraderie and how, you know, I thought that part was very well done because it showed how you guys are. It's like a baseball team or a football team. You become so close and, you know, those storylines were,
and you go from, you know, team to tribe to brotherhood, sisterhood, and it just evolves, right? And so to capture that, I think, was so important. And you find a lot of movies in those kind of similar stances. It's very human, right? Like the joking, the laughter, the banter, right? Like trying to humanize heroes, right? For people to comprehend, we're human too, you know? And I can't explain it because I'm not a writer or director, but if you were to talk to them, they could dive into, you know, the psychology of the purpose of that, of people understanding that we're human. Like these men and women that serve, they're human, you know?
Absolutely. You decided to stay in Prescott. Was that a conscious decision, or is it easier to stay where some people do know your story? And
no.
Would it be easier to go?
Yeah, 100% it'd be easier to go.
Because why? You feel?
I don't go anywhere and not get recognized. Not that it's not healthy, but it's like sometimes I just want to be myself. And so early on, it was really difficult. Like I stopped going out to eat, stopped going to grocery store, stopped doing multiple things, and it was tough. And it wasn't that it was negative. It was just that like every time someone would say, "Hey, aren't you Brendan McDonough? Like we're thinking about you, we're praying for you," or like they're crying and I'm trying to choke back my tears and like keep a straight stoic face because I have no clue how to react to this. Like it was just another trigger. And so like as people supported more, buying t-shirts, buying stickers, and supporting the families and sharing things, like it was just a constant reminder of like what had happened. And it took me a while to, like, I knew they were supportive, but it took me a while to really switch that mindset of my brain. No, I wanted to leave all the time. And what kept me here was my daughter. You know, having split custody, it just wasn't gonna happen. I fought so hard through my addiction at 19 and to get hired and to stay there and to work there, to just run. And someone had told me, they said, "Brendan, man, it doesn't matter where you go," because I thought about it multiple times. And I was like, maybe it'll be better for her, you know, am I really present? All those things that cross your mind. And they just told me, they're like, hey man, every mirror you look in, there you are. Like, you can go wherever you want, and what's in your head doesn't leave. So it's up to you. As I started to face that, like, I felt the support of my community, obviously, because they were so supportive, so much love, so much compassion. But I was able to embrace it to a point of, like, just really turning that into something positive instead of a constant reminder of what had happened. Like, that's a constant reminder of support, community, people that love, that care, and that took time, you know. But yeah, there's multiple times where I'm like, I just want to move. Yeah. I traveled a lot though during the early years. Yeah, a lot. People thought I moved. Yeah. Like, oh, he lives in Idaho. I was just there like every other week, you know, working for the Wildland Firefighter Foundation, and so thankful for that opportunity, because it got me out of here and allowed me to do something different and just be myself for a period of time. Yeah.
What will you do? Will you be able to take time for yourself on the anniversary, or will you need to?
If I choose to, yeah, I can. Yeah. I no longer have that issue of being able to say no, right? And so I have pretty clear boundaries. But also, you know, there's a certain level of responsibility that comes with honoring my brothers as well. And so, yeah, I'll take time if needed.
You feel, because they don't have a voice, you want to?
No.
What do you feel?
I get to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, they will not be forgotten. Like, I know that. So, like, any less or more I do doesn't impact the mass part of their legacy, right? And so that's not a weight or pressure that I feel today. And so, like, do I enjoy talking about them? Yes, because they helped save my life. And they're amazing husbands and fathers and sons, you know, and cousins and brothers. You know, I enjoy talking about that, but to the flip side, you know, it always felt like a job at first, and now it's something that for years I've been able to get to do and teach people the lessons that they live by, you know, and share that with others is super important to me. But back to the question, yeah, if I need to take time, I'll take time, and, you know, that's not a problem.